My name is Adelina West. I'm 39, and I always believed that New York was the kind of place where you could never truly be alone with your heart. A city of noise, of lights, of endless voices. I wrote books about women who saved themselves, but in real life, I believed love would save me. My husband, David, seemed like just that, a quiet kind of rescue. He knew how to stay silent in a way that calmed me. His touch was slow, steady. His embrace felt like home. We lived in an apartment with tall windows, somewhere between the East Side and my childhood idea of happiness. Every morning, almond milk coffee. Every evening, his hand on my back and the words, "You're the best thing in my life." I believed him. I believed in us. Until one night I woke up and the bed was empty. At first, I thought he went to get water. He usually stayed up later than I did. But this time I heard a voice. His voice. Only it sounded different. Firm, focused. Too confident. "She doesn't suspect a thing," he said. "Almost everything's in place." I don't remember how I walked to his office door, or how I stopped in front of that thin strip of light slipping through the crack. I just remember my breath, shallow, like someone who just realized she wasn't living in reality, but in a carefully crafted lie. I returned to bed, closed my eyes, and pretended to sleep. David climbed in beside me like nothing had happened. His hand touched my back again. But this time, all I felt was cold. The next morning, for the first time in years, I opened the laptop. We had a shared banking account. I had never once checked it. He handled everything. But this time, I logged in, and what I saw changed everything. Dozens of transactions, small amounts but regular, every week, withdrawals I didn't recognize, companies I'd never heard of. I was standing in the kitchen with my phone in hand when he walked in. "Checking the account this early?" he asked with a half smile. "Just curious. Some charges don't look familiar," I replied. He stepped closer, poured himself a cup of coffee like always. Calm, effortless. Little investments. I must have forgotten to mention them. But something in his voice had cracked, and I heard it. I didn't trust words anymore. Not the ones spoken, not the ones left unsaid. That morning, something inside me shifted. Not anger, not yet, but something solid, quiet, unshakable. I nodded as if I believed him, as if everything was fine. But inside, everything had already changed. I started watching him, not with love, but with precision. Every glance, every shrug, every casual, "don't worry about it," became another piece of a puzzle I was finally seeing for what it was. A few days later, I got my chance. He went to take a shower and for the first time left his phone on the table. That had never happened before. I waited until I heard the water running, then picked it up. One chat, no name, just a number. And there it was. "Send her the Ilium files. She still doesn't suspect." My name wasn't in the message, but I knew. It was about me. I put the phone back exactly where it had been. I didn't need more. I already knew. Likewise, I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't even have a plan. But I had myself. And this time, that was enough. I started small, revoked shared access, changed passwords, opened a separate account. A week later, he served me divorce papers, just left them on the table, like keys to a car he no longer wanted. "I think this is better for both of us," he said calmly. I read them in silence, looked him in the eye, and for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel weak. I felt free. "Before we sign," I said, "you should know, everything I had is no longer yours. The apartment, the accounts, the book royalties, the investments. I've protected it all. You won't get a thing." His face froze, eyes narrowed, jaw clenched. But he said nothing, just nodded, and left. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. 3 days later, I saw my face on an anonymous online forum. A post accusing a well-known woman of hiding money during divorce, full of anger, hints, and lies. It wasn't legal, it was personal, meant to humiliate me. Then he filed a lawsuit, accusations of fraud, forged documents, false statements. But I wasn't afraid. I gathered everything, the real data, the receipts, the transaction history, the emails. In court, I sat tall and calm. His voice trembled with forced confidence. Mine didn't. The court rejected every claim. My assets remained mine. His forgeries were exposed. His name, once respected, collapsed. After the hearing, he tried to speak to me. "You didn't have to do this," he said. "No," I answered. "You didn't have to." There was no euphoria after that, no moment of triumph, just silence, deep and clean, the kind I hadn't felt in years. I returned to myself. I started writing again, not about love, but about strength, not about perfect men, but about women who make it through. Every morning I woke up with nothing left to prove, and for the first time in a long while, I could breathe. I didn't return to the old apartment. I didn't look for new love. I looked for myself, and I think I found her. In the quiet, in the rhythm, in the books I now write, in the women who read them and say, "Me too." I've learned this. Trust isn't weakness, but giving everything away, that's not love. That's losing yourself. And if anyone ever tries to silence me again, I won't break. Because now I know strength isn't loud. It's the quiet you carry inside when the world falls apart. My name is Adelina West, and if you stayed with me until the end, thank you. This story isn't about revenge, it's about memory, about seeing yourself clearly when someone else tries to erase you. I don't chase fairy tales anymore. I write my own truth. No filters, no fear. Just a peace that doesn't ask permission. Because real victory isn't what you win. It's who you become. This isn't just a story. This is other stories.